Hello, everyone, and welcome to the STiKS Live. I don't think you guys can see us at all because we're on TeamSpeak. And Skype isn't working right now. Apparently, Goalie is having a lot of issues with Skype, so you guys can't see us. That may not be a bad thing, to be honest. Like, I think in some ways that's not all a negative thing, but in case you do actually looking at us, then that could be a terrible thing. But I don't know if you guys, I don't know how the setup is looking right now because the stream hasn't updated for me yet. But on the show today, I have myself, Goalie producing. We have Tommy, and we also have Hitch returning from last week as well. I'm going to ask you guys really quickly, how was the show last week? Because I was actually absent. I wasn't here on vacation. How was the show? How was it? Better without me, I'm assuming?
It was good. I mean,
Good.
I missed you, but it was.
Thank you.
It was still good. I don't want to kind of say it was great because you might be offended, but it was pretty great.
I'm not offended if it was good. I mean, if anything, I'm glad that it was good.
It was enjoyable. It was really nice having Mike on, and obviously Hitch returning. No complaints.
No complaints. Hitch, how was it coming back? And now you're back again.
It was good. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was like a really good show. For the longest time, as you guys know, I couldn't be on because of like work and stuff, but now my work to be here.
I like it. Well, I'm gonna go and actually do really quickly. So for those who may not know, and you guys I know you can't see me obviously. I look very spiffy, by the way. The pictures that he's had on screen, looks like Tommy's just really happy. Hitch is behind the skyline, and I'm in a suit. So I'm the only one that dressed up tonight. But either way, what I'm gonna do
You're a
is
presenter.
I am a presenter.
You're a professional.
This is what I do. I wish I was professional. I always put my Twitter bio is I want to talk when I grow up. Like that's my goal. So what I'm gonna do is I have the question of the week. Before we do that, I'm gonna ask you guys just to give a very brief introduction of yourself, what you do in the community, all that jazz. Everyone knows who's been watching the STiKS for at least 2 episodes know that we always do that. So really quick introduction, like I said, affiliations in the community, what you're doing, and maybe future plans or something like that, sponsors as well. So I'm gonna go and start off with Tommy, then to Hitch, and then I will kind of give an intro heading into the questions. So, Mr. Thomas.
Well, my name's Tommy, or Tommy Esports, for anyone that doesn't know me out in the world of the interwebs. I make YouTube videos to do with Call of Duty Esports. Other than that, obviously, host on the STiKS Live, what we're doing right now. And other than that, it's pretty much just doing content for Excel, what's an esports organization. I recently actually released the basically after movie from EGL 14.
That was good. I watched that. You and me
I
watched that.
I was quite happy with it. But yeah. Future plans though, I think I'm attending an event in 2 weekends. I think I'm 2 Pro, what is right next to where I live. So that's pretty much all I've got scheduled.
Nice. Mr. Hitch-a-Ride, Hitch something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of clever titles, and I haven't been here in a week, and I'm just completely screwing up.
You're struggling.
I am struggling. Davis.
Guys, my name is Hitch.
Your name is Hitch? Hello?
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 Hear me?
I'm here.
Yeah,
What happened?
I heard my name is Hitch, and then just nothing.
Wait, so can you guys hear me now or no?
Yeah, you're good now. I literally heard that, and that was it.
Okay, my name is Hitch. I do content creation and
Oh.
I think we're having issues.
Yeah,
God.
he's gone for me.
Dang it, man.
You need your own introduction for you, Hitch?
Yes.
All right. Hi, guys. My name is Hitch. Hitch-a-Ride.
Oh my god, are you Hitch?
I'm the leader of Optic Intel Clan. I make YouTube videos. Currently working on The Vision, a documentary series about Optic Gaming.
Episode 2 came out today, right? Or yesterday?
Yeah, I think it did yesterday. And I edit
I need to watch
vlogs, very impressive vlogs, and I'm growing immensely on YouTube and Twitter, and I live in the Optic Scuff House, so...
Ooh.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello. Just hello.
Is it better now?
I think it should be fine. It's just like, I think it's just a TeamSpeak problem.
This is so obnoxious.
It is obnoxious.
Yeah, it is. It just goes quiet, and I'm like, is it me lagging? Is it Hitch lagging? Are we all lagging? What is going on?
All right, one thing, I am recording the chat right now, so if everybody in the chat could put, hey, what's up vlog, or hi vlog, or hi Hitch's vlog, something like that, please do that so that I can record it. Thank you. Carry on with the show.
I'm going to be a little bit early. Really quick. Put it in the comments, YouTube comments as well. Even though he won't use it, but still it'd be nice. So while everyone comments in the stream chat, I'm gonna go and give my intro really quickly, and then we'll get into the question of the week, which is obviously done by you guys. So what is up, guys? My name is Landon. I upload YouTube videos. I streamed, did casting aids the other day, which was really fun. A lot of issues with that, unfortunately, with Black Ops 3, which we'll talk about. I'm a commentator, or at least I want to be. Black Ops 3, do a lot of content, and talk about roster changes on my Twitter, and a lot of other stuff that's not really important anymore. So what I'm going to do now, get into the question of the week. Now, this is my favorite part of the show, and I want to get the point across that if you want your question to be aired or even asked or whatever, tweet at me or tweet at the STiKS Live. Anyone in the STiKS fam, use the hashtag STiKS, QOTW, or just STiKS, whatever, with the question. We will use it and put it on the show most likely. So it's really basic, really simple, and I'll also read your name out so you know and everyone knows whose question it was from. So, like I said, I'm going to go and ring the box, and I want Tommy to tell me when to stop. I'm going to shake the box around with all these questions inside, and I want you to tell me when to stop. This is going, all right?
Okay.
I'm going to stop.
Yeah, just keep going.
Oh, my God.
Okay, you can stop.
Okay.
It's
Boom.
awkward because we can't see the box.
I know.
We can only hear the box.
I mean,
It's
if anything,
really
the box is not impressive at all for those who might have seen it before. All right. Okay, I have the question. I have the question. As I think Hitch might be in the middle of like a haunted house. Okay.
That's the most creaky sounding chair I've ever heard.
All right, this one is coming from Derek. I didn't have his Twitter, but it's from Derek. He says, "What is your favorite movie from the 90s?" So the 90s, a very good year for movies. And what was your favorite movie during the 90s? I'll give you guys a couple minutes. Actually, not a couple minutes, like a couple seconds to decide what was your favorite movie
I'm
during the
cheating
90s.
and finding what 90s movies came out because I was born in the 90s. Like, this is a silly question.
I would hope you were born in the 90s.
Okay, I have two answers. Can I go?
I mean, yeah, for sure.
I'm already ready. First
nice.
one, Toy Story, 100%. Love the Toy Story series.
Good movie.
Second one, Home Alone.
That's
Done.
a fair answer.
I'm done.
That was a pretty good one. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
did
lie.
kind of cheat. But...
Any reason why? I mean, you just said they were good. That wasn't
okay.
like,
So
in depth.
Toy Story. Just what more do I have to say? Like, it's so loved as a child. Home Alone, always used to watch it around Christmas time and just always enjoyed the movies. Even though now I look back at them and think like everything in this movie would have never happened. They would have just killed the kid. Let's be honest.
Jeez.
That's a little bit rough.
Yeah, it is a bit rough, but it's true.
All right. So, pretty outstanding answer there from Mr. Thomas. Hitch, do you have any answers for what was your favorite movie from the 90s or movies from the 90s?
Favorite movie from the 90s?
Thank you, Derek, for your question, as I just threw it away, but thank you.
I don't know what movies are from the 90s.
They want to give you some?
Yeah.
All right, so there's like Titanic, Forrest Gump, I know Tommy said Home Alone, The Lion King,
Jurassic
Toy
Park.
Story, Jurassic Park.
Aladdin, 100%.
Oh,
That's a solid answer. Any reason why Aladdin? Do you just like...
There was like a point in my life where I got up and watched Aladdin every single morning.
I had that
I
with
was
Bug's
like-
Life.
Yeah, I was like 8 or like 7 or 8, and I watched Aladdin every single morning.
Oh, I was 18.
That's
but-
pretty cool.
That was last week for me.
Rip
Aladdin's a
Landon.
good movie. Aladdin's a good movie.
I
like,
just realized the
Genie.
Star Wars, the Phantom
First
Menace
one?
came out in 1999.
Yeah, we can't speak
Wow.
about that. I'm excited for the new
Wow.
Star Wars movie, though. That's gonna be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Like,
I
out
hope it's
in
good.
December.
I think so. Actually, I actually have tickets, like the first showing at like 7.
What?
Not trying to gloat or anything about
Eager.
having movie tickets, but yeah. So I think my favorite movie, which I know we already listed it, I love Jurassic Park. Like that's like one of my favorite things, like series to watch, like of all time. I'm also a fan of like Toy Story. I like all the Disney movies basically from the 90s, but overall, I'm gonna have to go with Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic Park. Second, third one are fine, but that one is by far a fantastic movie. As far as other stuff go, I also saw The Sandlot listed. I was a big fan of The Sandlot when I was little too. So that's also a good movie. And let us know down in the YouTube comments as well as in the Twitch chat what you guys think. What is your favorite movie or movies from the 90s? We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hand off to Tommy, to kind of take it away and let us know what happened this weekend at the Totino's 50K. 'Cause I believe it was like a sponsored event as well, and it was a pretty major prize pool, being how early it was. So Tommy, if you would be so kind to let us know what happened, really give us a recap.
So this event in general was pretty crazy to think that like they didn't announce it until I think it was like Thursday or something when they officially, or Wednesday they officially announced it. And as Landon rightfully said, it was sponsored by Totino's. What is it like a pizza company or something? Because we don't have it over in the UK.
They make pizza rolls and I think pizzas and other stuff too. But I love Totino's. I do. I'm a big fan.
Well, you like it, I like it, whatever. But anyway, it was not like that. It was a bit of a bizarre event because it was at the MLG.TV arena in Columbus, but it was streamed on Twitch, and it was very bizarre. And it was actually on twitch.tv/Twitch. So I presume it was an event. I don't know if it was an event by Twitch that was sponsored by Totino's, but either way, it was on Twitch. And it was an 8-team invitational with $50,000 on the line. The teams, just go through them that were invited, were FaZe Clan, Complexity, Optic Gaming, Rise Nation, TK, Team Envious, Elevate, and Luminosity Gaming. I mean, I want to kind of ask you a question about this because I found the formatting for this event very bizarre. Like, I would have rather them stretched it out of 2 days. I don't know if that wasn't possible, and that's why they did it this way. But basically, it was a best of 3 for the first round and second round, single elimination, and then the grand finals was a best of 5. What did you both think of this formatting?
I guess I can go first if
yeah,
needed.
I should have said go.
All right. Well, I liked it. I thought it was kind of interesting. Obviously, we're not used to best of 3s like at all. Like that's more of like a different type of esport thing. As far as best of 3 goes, it was obviously like a one-day event, like you said. I would have liked to see it be longer, but it is like the first event. We've only played the game for I think like 6 days. Is how long they had it before. Or as the game came out, they only had like 6 days to really play it. So I mean, I would have liked to see a best of 5, but with all the issues that are going on with Black Ops 3 right now, I don't know honestly if they could have done much more. Like the amount of settings that go on, at least in the caster mode that I've noticed, is incredibly difficult. And only having 3 casters there, I would have imagined they probably would be dying after the second day. So, you know, they obviously prepared for it, but it is a little bit weird. But you know, I think it worked out for the most part pretty okay. So,
okay, Hitch.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Best of 3 is kind of goofy. One day events are kind of goofy, but then of course the meta game as of now in Black Ops 3 is kind of goofy. So it's kind of like an all-around
so it's a goofy event. Yeah. That's a nice way to sum it up. Yeah, I have to agree. I found it just so weird. Like, I think if they'd started a little bit earlier, because obviously, like every event, all the players get there the day before, so they're nice and prepared for the event. They could have easily started it at like 9 o'clock in the morning. I know it's a bit early, and had best of 5s for all these series. But as I kind of think we've touched on, we didn't really know how it was going to go. Obviously, with Hardpoint, the games are a lot longer because you play basically to 250 rather than playing to 10 minutes, and so on and so forth. So I guess it was a bit of a pilot event, I like to call it. And I think hopefully Activision and various event hosters will kind of take a lot from it and in knowing kind of what they need to know in terms of planning an event. But to go into the game, so the first round, we're not really, I don't think there was any kind of seeding or anything for it. They just kind of did it themselves. So the first round or the quarterfinals were Complexity versus Envy, OG versus Elevate, Rise versus Luminosity Gaming, and then FaZe versus TK. And for me, the upset came with the FaZe TK matchup. I know obviously it's a new game, fresh start for many players and teams, but with kind of the momentum FaZe had coming into Advanced Warfare, I personally thought that they would take the series over TK, but actually it was TK to take it 2-0. Hitch, from you and the perspective of actually being at the event, what did you make of this matchup?
The TK FaZe matchup?
Yes.
Every single person in that entire venue was looking to see who FaZe played second round. Like, because TK
they just written them off.
Yeah, because TK, there was momentum from FaZe coming into this game, but TK had been scrimming people online, and I don't think they won a single scrim for like the entire the entire week that they were scrimming. I don't think they ever won a single scrim. And it's the same exact squad from Black Ops 2. So all the TK fans, because there's a bunch of them out there, the TK fans are saying, you know, like, TK and Black Ops 2 was so good because they were so trash online that people like.
They've gone back to their old ways.
Yeah, people always like just wrote them off because they used to scrim Complexity all the time. Complexity was like the best team in the game, so they got the great practice that they needed, but they still got destroyed because like Goonjar was like the only one with good internet. And I think like it's the same thing now. It's the same exact squad, and so their Sharp went off, and I don't know. I think that I don't know. I feel like people shouldn't sleep on TK anymore. But even the pro players, everybody that I talked to said that TK was going to be a free win.
I mean, from my perspective, I always feel like when I gain a little bit of faith in TK, it just goes down the drain. So maybe like it's good not to have any faith in them and they'll actually do well. I don't know. But Landon, what did you make of this matchup? Because as I said, I think it was a bit of an upset in my opinion. I would have expected FaZe to go through. Obviously, Hitch and the rest of everyone watching at the MLG Arena seems to think the same. What was it for you?
Like personally, like whenever we come into a new game, like based on how different the game is compared to the last one, I always kind of take that into effect. So like whenever I made like my recap, for instance, I was always thinking, or like coming into the event, I was like, we can't expect every team to be just as good as they were in the previous COD. Which I wasn't saying like that TK was going to beat FaZe. Like I wouldn't just go out and say that. But I was like, look at Black Ops 2. Which of these FaZe players really known in Black Ops 2? Like Clay was, like Attach, Zuma weren't even known then. Enable was playing Halo. Like I know it's the similar thing, but I was like thinking whenever we have a best of 3, you have a hardpoint, search and destroy, which is completely different, and a hardpoint, which is completely different. Like in my head, I was thinking that FaZe would win, but I didn't think it was going to be like as demolishable as everyone thought. But no way in my head that I think that TK was going to win. I thought that honestly, like FaZe was just going to run over them and slang. But that's the whole point of this game. It's not like all slang. It's like you have to rotate, you have to do this and that. And so I guess like in some way I was expecting it to be at least a little bit closer than people thought, but I had in no way was I thinking that FaZe was gonna lose that, especially in a 2-0. I think Goalie mentioned it was like the only 2-0 besides the grand finals that actually went down. So I was very surprised by that.
Do either of you think potentially if it was a best of 5, it would have been a different result?
No.
Like honestly, probably not.
Sharp was going off, man.
I want to know what his KD was.
Sharp all day, not TK all day. Okay, anyway, then let's move on to the next matchup. So Rise versus Luminosity. I think the majority of these other first round matchups is a little bit harder because obviously, again, it's a new game. We don't know who's going to be the best players. There's probably someone sitting at home watching this right now who's going to be the best player in the game, and we don't even know them. But yeah, this Rise Luminosity gaming matchup, it went 2-1 in favor of Rise. I think with the Rise lineup, that's not really surprising. Not kind of discrediting Luminosity because they're a great roster. How was this matchup for you, Hitch?
Rise versus what?
Luminosity Gaming.
Honestly, to be completely honest, I didn't catch any of that match. I was doing interviews and stuff with the guys, so I didn't see any of it.
Landon, did you get to catch it?
Oh yeah, I watched basically every game. And this is like I have to say, like this is probably like the one event in like a super long time where I was actually playing the game and watching it at the same time. Like I can't remember the last time I've done that. Where
How can you do that?
I just watch the game and edit videos and stuff. Like I don't actually like I wasn't playing Advanced Warfare. No offense to Advanced Warfare, but I wasn't playing it intensively while watching it at the same time. Like that's just not like. And then Ghost was the same thing for me. But either way, coming into Rise and Luminosity as well. And I don't remember this match like super clear off the top of my head. But Luminosity, like obviously, like we said, is like a fairly new roster. I think it's John, Spacely, Proofy, and Replays. I think that's right. And I like that team a lot. It's kind of a weird roster for me, but with Black Ops 3, I don't know how everything's gonna work, like how the roles are gonna come into effect. But coming to Black Ops 3, I was thinking that Rise Nation was gonna be a pretty good squad for the most part. They're all really like very smart players, but they're also very talented in like a bunch of different stuff. So in my head, I was thinking that Rise would win. Obviously, it was a 2-1, but still not like too surprising. Definitely not even close to like how FaZe and TK kind of matched up. But I figured Rise would win. But it was a 2-1, so I mean, you can't really say it was super close. But like Hitch said, it was kind of like best of 3s are really hard to come by because 3-1 is a lot different than a 2-1 in a best of 3 compared to a best of 5. So I would say it's pretty expectable for the most part.
I felt like with a lot of these matchups, there just wasn't. I don't know. It was just like there was lacking intensity because it was like an invitational. It was the first event. There wasn't, there's 50K on the line. Don't get me wrong. It's a large amount, but at the same time, it was like it was just kind of all like their first outing. It was just like, oh well, let's just test the waters. Let's see how we get on.
I think a lot of them honestly felt kind of uncomfortable with the game because it's like one thing when you're coming to an event and you're prepared, like you've been playing a long time, like you know all the callouts. Half the players, like I think a lot of the recaps, they were like, I haven't even played like some of these search and destroy maps. Like nobody, and most of the time you never like do 8s or hardly scrim S&D, and so basically none of them had really played any of the search maps.
It was basically just playing off the bat and just
which makes you even more nervous, I think. So coming to a series, it's like I have no idea what this map is. I don't know where the bomb sites are. So I think that might have been a little bit why. Like they weren't as like.
That's kind of worrying if you don't know where the bomb sites are. It's like, how do I play this game? It's search and destroy. Just like put your hand up and like ask the other team, like, can we have a 5-minute timeout? Okay, but anyway, moving on. So we had OG versus Elevate, where OG took the series 2-1. Obviously Elevate being the old Team Revenge lineup. Either of you surprised with that result? I'm not really too surprised, if I'm honest.
Myself, I wouldn't say it's like a major surprise, but like Elevate's a really good roster. Like the guys, this is the old TR team. I know everyone knows that. But like those guys are all known for like grinding the game out super early. Like they know absolutely everything about the game. And I know in like I think Scum's recap, I know Hitch can probably reiterate this a little bit better than I can, but like I know some of the Optic players were one of like some of those guys that I mentioned who did not know some of the bomb sites. They didn't know like where some of the stuff were. And I knew that Elevate were that team that knew absolutely everything about the game already. So I think that in my head I was kind of thinking like that could be a close matchup. And then OG, like obviously losing one map was kind of interesting coming into the final the final game. Like would OG get out in the first round of the first tournament? Like that was kind of a big deal. It was a really entertaining game, but obviously Optic won. Wasn't massively surprised. I thought that game would be pretty close. And I was thinking that might, besides the Cole versus Envy game, probably be the closest one of the first round. But, OG won. Not too much, I would say, of a surprise to anyone based on their performance in Advanced Warfare, though.
I presume you weren't surprised either, Hitch.
Yeah, no, I wasn't surprised. Those guys are gonna be an amazing team. Their chemistry is obviously probably the most chemistry-based team in like Call of Duty history, just because of their one showing at Champs. Because none of those players are superstars, but the way they work together just molded like a perfect team, like a team that we've never seen before. So I think as the game goes on, and a lot of people were saying that those 4 players are like jetpackers or like they're Advanced Warfare players, but that's not the case because I think there's a duo on that team. I think it's Aqua and Remy. I'm not sure, but I think it's Aqua and Remy that have literally played together since Modern Warfare 3, like very, very early on. So it's not like they can't adjust and figure out, the best way to move along the metagame.
Yeah, that's understandable. I think that's one of the things I most liked about Revenge back at COD Champs, just to kind of go on a bit of a tangent. Like, their chemistry and their teamwork within game, it was so noticeable, and it was, I think, what made them such like a good uplink team, etc. So I definitely agree, and looking forward to them coming to the future events, etc. But last matchup of the quarterfinals was Cole versus Envy. A little bit of a rivalry because obviously Aches and TP on Envy going against their former org that they had so much like history and success with, what was pretty interesting realistically. But it actually went in favor of Complexity, which is obviously Complexity to me just reminds me of Farico Impact. I know that it's only got half of Freako Impact on it, but obviously it's got Power, Mirror, Ricky, and Nameless. For whatever reason, it reminds me of Freako. I didn't get to watch this matchup. Did either of you get to see it, Landon or Hitch?
I personally did, but I obviously I wasn't there live. But
I saw a little bit of it. I saw like a little bit of the first map. I didn't see like hardly any of the S&D.
Okay. What about you, Landon?
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, like. I like obviously it happened a couple days ago, so I don't remember like, oh yeah, the first hard point went here and the second search and destroy went there. But like coming to this game, I think Goalie was the one who tweeted out. He was like Cole versus Envy was the last match that Complexity actually had, like before they
Oh,
disbanded.
really?
So that was actually like their last game the last series that they played since they disformed from Call of Duty. And so now their first game back was like kind of like a reunion type thing, which I thought was kind of interesting as well.
Quite interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, Complexity is a really good team, at least on paper they are. MB's a pretty solid roster as well. I mean, having Aches and Teep, who won the most championships in Black Ops 2, Slasher, who's like an up and coming Don, and then J-Cap, who is obviously like a seasoned veteran, much like Aches and Teep are. Like, that's a really like knowledgeable team, which I think could be really useful
I think they both
Black
are.
Ops 3. What do you mean?
As in, like, that both of these teams like have had so much success in past Call of Duties, and like I feel like we don't really know the full capabilities of both these teams until we get a little bit down the road, when obviously we find out kind of the actual rule set and what maps get taken out and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, what did you make of the outcome? Because as it's like a best of 3, you can't take much from it, because if a team's not performing to like 100% at the start of the series, they can easily like go down a map, and then it can be a bit fluky in S&D, etc. sometimes. So I don't think there's much to take from it. I feel like if they rematched, it could easily go in favor of Envy.
Yeah, it's like it's a weird thing for me, and this is just something that I've noticed that I've actually asked the pro player in one of their stream chats, and they agreed with me on this. I think honestly that this year for like best of 5s, best of 3s, whatever it may be, whenever you play Hardpoint and then you play Search and Destroy, according to this pro, I'm not going to name who it is, but either way, I asked them, I was like, do you think it's going to have as big of an impact in Black Ops 3 as it did in Advanced Warfare in the Hardpoint to S&D game? Because like whenever you lost a Hardpoint versus whatever team you played against, it was kind of like demoralizing in a way because of the amount of times that you died. Like I know that this sounds probably kind of weird, but the amount of times that you died, the amount of gunfights that you got in, how close the games were in Advanced Warfare, and then heading into the Search and Destroy is a lot harder to transition to. And I feel like in Black Ops 3, since there aren't as many gun engagements, and since it's based on rotations, not actually just killing people all the time, that it's not as stressful to go from one game to another. And this pro player like completely agreed with me and thought that exact same thing. So I think honestly, if these two teams would have played against each other, it could have gone either way. I think that's why there were so many 2-1s, is because you lost the first hard point. It's not as demoralizing as it was, at least we think so, in Advanced Warfare, because you know that you didn't lose because you got outslayed, which is kind of demoralizing, but because you got out-rotated. So I think that's honestly like a factor that we could see in this year. I don't know if we'll see, all game 5s or anything like that, but I think that might have been the reason why we saw so many 2-1s in a sense. But if these guys were to rematch, honestly, I think it could go either way as well. I saw Aches absolutely going off. I think he had mostly an AR for the most part and was doing really good work. And Teep was in the hill most of the time. So I think honestly, all these games were basically 2-1s. It could have gone either way if they would have rematched each other. So I know that was a long answer, but
and you got to think that J-Cap probably had one of the worst games of his entire life.
Oh yeah, he started off really slow.
That first map, and it's like, whatever it happens. Like he's obviously not a bad player. He's like one of the best players in Call of Duty history. But like, if you have one bad map in a best of 3, like what can you do? Like everybody has bad maps, and then there's always ways to recover it. Like, what tournament was it where Aches had a bad map in like Black Ops 2, and he had like a terrible map, but it was a best of 5, and they ended up winning the series anyway. So it's like, and in best of 5s, there's like room to recover, but in Black Ops but in best of 3, there's like hardly any.
Yeah, it's like you lose one map, you're one map away from losing this. Especially in a single elimination, it's like you lose 2 maps, you're done. Like, pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was definitely, I don't know, it just, this tournament in general was a bit bizarre because it was a new game, it was a weird format, but anyway, it is what it is, it's happened, it's in the past, we put it behind us. Moving into the semi-finals, we obviously had then Cole versus OG, how many matchups we had with them two, and then Rise versus TK. Just to touch on the Rise TK matchup, obviously TK shocking and beating FaZe coming into the Rise matchup. I honestly would have favored them, although on paper I would say this Rise roster was probably better, even though we still don't understand who the best players are in the game. But yeah, it went still to 2-1 as we talked about. The only 2-0 was actually the FaZe versus TK match, but Rise ended up winning it in the S&D game 3. Are you surprised at all? Like Hitch, you were saying how like everyone in the venue thought that TK would just be down and out first round. So like coming into the second round, was that still kind of the thought process going into it?
Oh no, coming into the second round, I'm pretty sure everyone was like, all right, like old TK is back. Everybody's mentality was old TK is back and FaZe is like trash. Like that's just what everybody kind of was thinking, because like FaZe is kind of like in the same boat as Optic, whereas they have they have Enable and we have Formal, and those two players have like they've never played a Call of Duty that is more focused on like rotations and strategy rather than just like pure gun skill and outgunning the other person like kind of like Advanced Warfare was. So those two players were like top 5 players in Advanced Warfare, and now they're having to adjust to a Treyarch Call of Duty. So that's like they're in the same boat in that situation. But then like TK, like that's where they thrived, was in Call of Duties, like in like Treyarch style Call of Duty. So everybody thought, by that time everybody was like, oh, TK is gonna has a good shot of making it to the grand finals, especially after Sharp, like map 1, Sharp was like, do y'all remember what Sharp was doing to those poor souls on map 1? It was so terrible.
Running fear through everyone. Just kind of touching quickly, because Wisp brought up something in the chat, like saying, I'm not necessarily talking down the event. I think it was an amazing event as well. Honestly, like I get that it was put together last minute. Yeah. I just disagree with the formatting, because obviously I don't know if it was a time thing or not, but if it wasn't a time thing, it's just frustrating that they couldn't do best of 5s double limb over like 2 days, say. Although obviously they'd still need to sort things out in terms of working out if it would fit in the time slot. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion. But anyway, so obviously Rise beat TK, what again I guess kind of surprised after TK beat FaZe. So they banked themselves a space in the grand finals, and they were either going to play OG or Complexity, where I actually watched pretty much the majority of this series, and it went the distance. But the last S&D, I don't know if it was the same for you guys, but it was very much not intense whatsoever, because I think OG pretty much wiped the floor with them, one of it like 6-1 or 6-2 or something like that, and it was just over like that. I don't know if, was it the same for you guys?
I mean, like personally, like obviously Cole versus OG, and really quickly, I want to say like Rise versus TK, that series was insane. Like that's going to be like regarded as one of the best hard points of the entire year. I think it was like 250 to 249. The scoreboard was actually wrong at the end of the map, so everyone was even more confused because it said that Rise won, even though TK actually did, which is kind of strange. But either way, that was by far like my favorite map series of the entire event, besides the grand finals, of course. But Cole versus OG, like obviously, like I said, like I think on Twitter, I was like, it's really fun to say that Cole versus OG, like it's really fun to say Cole versus OG is coming up next, because like we haven't been able to say that in forever. So coming to that game, it was obviously like a lot of hype. I think much like everyone else, everyone assumed that Optic was going to win. Obviously, I think they won. Was it the first hard point that Optic won, or did they lose the first hard point? I can't honestly remember.
I'm not entirely sure.
They won the hard point.
They won the hard point, and they lost the... Okay. I wasn't really for sure, but honestly, like I was assuming that Optic would win. It's kind of interesting since Complexity is consisting of 3 previous players who were on Optic, Nameless, Ricky, and Miracle. So I know there wasn't like any animosity, but those guys know each other fairly well. So I think it was just kind of like not like revenge in a way, but it was just kind of, it made for like an interesting storyline. But in which I thought it went the exact same way that I figured. So I figured it would be a 2-0 or 2-1, obviously, but Optic in my mind is always going to win.
Okay, well, that sums up the semifinals. Then going into grand finals, obviously OG Rise. Just to round out this, it was a best of 5 as we talked about before. It went the distance like pretty much every series, but this time at least it was a best of 5, so there was a bit more credibility to it. And I do believe in the last map on the S&D, it was like 5-5, and then some clutch plays from, I think it may have been Octane, if I'm not mistaken. Meant that they ended up closing it out and winning, and taking home I think like $20,000. So overall, are you guys surprised that Rise won? Because like if I kind of coming into this event gave a top 3 prediction, Rise may get 3rd, like they definitely probably come behind OG and FaZe. So for you guys, was that a surprise for Rise to win this event?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that answer.
Just
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, Tommy. No, I'm kidding. Like OG versus Rise, like coming into that series, I thought that it would probably go like 3-1 in favor of Optic. Like I knew that Rise is a good team and everything. Like they beat LG, they beat TK, which looked like a good team versus FaZe. But obviously coming down to I think it was Breach S&D was game 5 and everything. I did go the distance, which was a fantastic series and stuff, and it was like a really good way to end it. Like I was thinking the Optic was just gonna like absolutely like storm out on the search and destroy. I thought they were just gonna like reach like a new level like we saw them in Advanced Warfare, and which they did. Like I think Rise started off really hot, and then Optic started to make a little bit of a comeback here and there, which they ended up forcing them around 11. But that's why I always say like specialists are so it's something that you always have to think about now because like instead of like along with streaks, which you always have to be having that thought in your mind, specialists you're gonna get that at least one time and search and destroy if you're grabbing at least 1 or 2 kills here and there. So like obviously I think it was Slack who got 2 kills on in round 11 and stuff. So he completely went off. I think Scump said that he thought that they'd actually killed them when he had the Annihilator out. So that was like little things here and there that you always have to focus on, and that's just another one of the components that comes in with like the metagame and with like the mind setting, because it's not just slaying, it's you have to be worried about people having a specialist having score streaks and stuff,
and not using it and dying. The amount of times I
Exactly.
saw people use it and then 5 seconds later they run around the corner and just get killed, and it's just like, well, that was a waste. So I definitely think that as time evolves, like the specialists and what specialists get used and don't get used will definitely become apparent, and they'll use them in different ways to benefit the team.
Yeah, and that's obviously something that people are gonna have to focus on moving forward past this event. I don't think we have an event, at least in the U.S., for like the next couple of months. I think it's the qualifier.
That's December. I think it's like start December, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so at least unless we have another surprise event that another that we weren't.
Imagine if we just end up having like a surprise event every week. It'd just be.
I wouldn't mind that too. Actually,
I wouldn't mind, but I mean, I think Hitch would maybe complain because he'd have to go to everyone or near enough everyone.
I love traveling to events. I don't know what it is. I just like the hype to get there. Leaving is probably the worst part though, because you have to like you're going all the way back. But
packing's the worst part. Just
that's true.
Unpacking and then packing and then unpacking. Just
I know Goalie probably wouldn't be a fan either if we had an event every weekend.
Goalie wouldn't be with us if we had an event.
I'd be pretty pissed.
But yeah, that pretty much rounds out the Totino's 50k Invitational. Obviously, just to kind of recap, Rise ended up winning it in the finals, 3-2 against OG, 6-5 against OG. OG coming second, TK and Cole joined third, fourth, and then coming in last or 5th through 8th was FaZe, Luminosity Gaming, then Elevate and Envy. But interestingly, looking at the prize pool, obviously, Rise obviously took home 20k of it, and then OG taking home 6k. And then after that, it was interesting to see the 3rd through 8th was split 4k equally, what I found kind of interesting if anyone wanted to know. I don't know. And then the MVP award went to Octane. I think rightfully deserved. From what I saw, he played pretty outstanding. Do you guys agree, Landon?
What was it? Sorry, I was looking at something.
So Octane got the MVP.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
From Rise, I would say so. Like, based on like overall consistency throughout the entire event, I think that he would deserve it. It just kind of depends on your definition of like how you debate like the most valuable player. Like, is it clutch situations? Is it just overall, consistency? I think he was really consistent throughout the entire event. I know he rocked like the Reaper Scythe, which is like my favorite specialist. It's basically just a walking death machine the entire event. And his AR game with his ICR is just fantastic. Like he was using, I think he was basically like the only person who really used an ICR throughout the entire event, which was fantastic. And he made it look like that was one of the best ARs in the game, and it's really not. So I was really happy with how Octane did. So I think he was definitely like a worthy applicant of the MVP award.
I like the way you worded that.
Thank you.
Hitch, do you agree?
I can't stand Octane.
I mean, I've heard something different in your vlog, so maybe there's 2 Hitches that I don't know about.
I think, yeah, obviously Octane did really, really well. His shot is still stupid, but I think Classic really, I think he surprised me more than anybody. And I was talking with I forgot who it was. I think it was Krem. I was talking with Krem about how like Classic's play because he like went off this event, and oh, it was Seth. Seth said that as soon as he got the game, like he didn't even play pubs. Like Classic went straight into playing aids, straight into team scrims, and that's all he's done for like the past week. And
He's ahead of the game.
so he definitely was ahead of the game, and his shot is really good. And it was just like it was kind of like the early on Ghosts Classic. We got a taste of that again.
Oh,
I
that's
like
pretty
that.
sweet.
I know whenever they were doing PS4 like AW8s, like they were just practicing for Black Ops 3, like just trying to get like their like get used to the PS4 controller. I know that Classic was like struggling like majorly, like he was going so negative and like was having a really hard time. So I think I wonder if that was like one of the main reasons. Like he was like, you know, I'm sucking in Advanced Warfare PS4. I have to like really focus on that. So I wonder if that was one of the main reasons he did that. Or in that reason. So kind of interesting.
Hitch, from speaking to the players, like, what was their overall feel from the event? Because obviously we all know there's things that can be definitely improved upon what we're going to come and talk about, but like from speaking with them, did they say anything? Did they, you know, have any good constructive criticism about the event and Black Ops 3 as a game? Bit of a mouthful.
Trying to think what I can say. All right, so some of the players really, really love the event. I know Miracles said he adores the game. He can't wait to. Like, he literally.
Wow,
like,
I've never heard
crush.
that word used with Call of Duty. In the
He's
same
a crush on
sentence.
Black Ops 3.
at the airport. We saw him and he was like, I just can't wait to get back so I can play. It's like I haven't heard anybody say that in like years. I haven't heard anybody say that since like Black Ops 2. But so I know some of the guys like the game. There's different things about the pick and ban system that they do have issues with. I know that 60 seconds seems like an eternity to pick classes for the viewers, but 60 seconds for the players seems like light speed. It seems like you have absolutely no time to change your classes, to adjust, and to have like a set guideline. So what the I know at least all the optic guys are pretty much on the same page about what they should do, what like a solution to that, and everybody is kind of wanting one prior to an entire series. They would want to do the pick and ban system, and they would want to basically like triple the time on each of it. So you during the entire series, you have 3 times the amount of time to choose one specialist, to choose all your classes and ban score streaks and all of that, and then you can go in and play the entire series.
So my understanding of this is they wanted to do pick and bans for the entire series rather than per map.
Exactly. That
could work.
That's basically what they. Yeah. I mean, because
that gives them a lot. Like that gives them 3 minutes per se. To actually sort out their classes. Because I'm not a competitive player, and even I would struggle to do 5 or however many classes in 60 seconds, bearing in mind, say, they all needed tampering because of the pick and ban. So
I think that'd be actually, I don't actually mind that too much. I think that's kind of interesting. Like you have to, it's not just one map, you have to worry about it for the entire series. I think that'd be kind of cool.
And if you've ever seen the beginning of like a Dota or a League of Legends, like they spend like
they take forever.
A good amount of time.
Like I love that though. Like personally, from a caster's perspective or being someone on the analysis desk, like you want something to give analysis over.
Absolutely.
For instance, that team just won. Let's just say it was like Optic versus some other team in Advanced Warfare. They crushed them. Analysis really doesn't matter. Next series we have this team and that team. Like I would love if we transitioned for an analysis desk, talked about it, and then we can talk about what maps they're gonna be playing, and then we can get to the specialist draft. Because like if you have someone who knows the game or at least knows the players, like it might seem like a long time for the viewers, but if you have someone who's entertaining, at least talk about the players at least like an entertaining way, and having something to look at, like honestly, like I think it would make everything much better. Like it's gonna be really good if they do it correctly.
I feel like if you do pick and bans, and then you give them a minute to then adapt to their classes, and then you go straight into the game, then like you're basically eliminating any time, as you said, as a caster, as an analyst, to even really like talk. In 60 seconds, you're going to maybe make 1 or 2 points rather than, you know, making a lot. Because at the end of the day, if they're banning or protecting 8 items or guns, whatever it be, there's no way you can talk about that in 60 seconds. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
definitely something. And like, as I go back to, like, I feel like personally, I know it isn't, but it's like a pilot event for Activision, for various organizers to know kind of in future how things are going to run. And on Activision's part, this is definitely something that hopefully the players can give them feedback on, and saying, hey, you know, the ban and protect system, it's good, but it can be improved on this way. Well, I think it's definitely a point where we'll eventually get to, but it's about kind of reacting now before like we get to COD champs and we still have like these problems, etc.
I think, like, friends, I know I keep bringing this up, and I'm not trying to like plug myself, but I did casting aids the other day, like where I just kind of learned like the casting system and stuff, and trying to like at least give it not any analysis because I don't know the players who are playing necessarily like their play styles like I do the pros,
Right.
but like only having like whenever you do the specialist draft, the players who I was casting over knew what they wanted immediately, and only having I think 20 or 30 seconds to choose your specialist might not seem like a lot for a spectator. But when you're thinking strategically, like what player is going to, you know, for instance, what specialist do we want for which player, so on and so forth, could be a fantastic thing for casters to kind of analysis on, provide information on as well. And whenever you just constantly have like that specialist was chosen, that specialist was like back and forth like rapid fire, it's like impossible to do because you're talking about something that happened 3 rounds ago. Like it's not any longer relevant.
Yeah,
Right.
makes sense. So we're gonna go to a commercial break in a second, but just to kind of round out the recap of this event, Hitch, you obviously attended. Overall impressions of it, obviously, what was it like it being at the MLG.TV arena, but not being streamed on MLG, etc.? Like, what was your overall perspective, and what would you kind of give it a rating out of 10?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You should probably ask Landon because I was at the event, so I don't know how the like as far as like.
No. That's what I mean though. Like, what was it any different? Because obviously it was still at the MLG arena, but was it like any different in any ways because it was streamed on Twitch?
I've never
was
been.
it-
That was my first time at the MLG arena.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what were your
So-
impressions of it then?
MLG arena is awesome. I think it's great. I guess there's not a lot of spectators there because of like where it's located, but I think it serves its purpose and it's really like it's a great atmosphere for producing high quality content or events. But as far as like the difference between this event and an event that was streamed on MLG.TV, as far as being in the venue, it was the exact same. So I don't know how different it was for you guys.
Yeah.
How different was it for this spectator?
Well, I mean, I think Landon, you can probably agree with me with there being some glitches and problems with the Codcaster, but generally, I felt the experience was pretty good. It was refreshing to be back on Twitch. I don't remember the max concurrent, but I think it's kind of irrelevant because it was, you know, it was advertised and announced so late, etc. But yeah, apart from the Codcaster glitching a bit with the colors, etc., I had a pretty good time watching the event. What about you, Landon?
I thought it was good. You know, obviously there are going to be issues, and I totally like coming to this event. Like I was thinking, like there are going to be problems, and I have to like look past that. Like we're not in the middle of the game; it's not the last event or anything like that. So with only being a week and you know being it so sudden as well, I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed watching it for the most part. I was obviously playing a lot too, which made me kind of more interested. And honestly, like learning what people are doing is like not knowing why a person did something is incredibly fascinating to me as well. So. Like in Black Ops 3, I was just like wondering why everything was happening and just trying to gain as much like knowledge as I possibly could. So I think we're going to head to a quick commercial break, guys. When we return, we'll be talking about a couple side topics, talking about the Codcaster mode, CTF versus Uplink, which one we would rather see in the rotation, and a little bit of our analysis so far on the game as like public matches kind of go. So we'll see you on the other side, if I believe, 60 seconds. Don't go anywhere, as Hitch is dying. We're having a lot of issues tonight, or today, wherever you are located at. But it's okay. We're living through it. We're going through, and we're just advancing. We've lost Thomas. There might be something going on in Europe that we don't know of. So yeah, we're just hoping that Tommy comes back. Tweet at Tommy, and tweet him RIP or rest in peace or something like that. Feel free to. But we're going to move on with the show. Goalie will be joining us and kind of filling in for Tommy. They're basically the same person. They look exactly alike, but they just have different accents. So, Goalie, I'm going to ask you this as well. You can also reiterate some of these things we're talking about. Some kind of interesting stuff that's going on in the scene. Currently, it's not really a topic. I just really have it down as side topics. A bunch of different stuff that's going on in the community that we want to address first off. So, major thing going on right now is which maps or which game types we want to have in the competitive rotation. Obviously, Hardpoint and Search and Destroy are basically already locked in, and we're debating whether to have CTF or Uplink in the game. I know a lot of pros are kind of advancing for one particular game type over the other, which happens to be CTF. And I want to ask you guys, why do you think that Uplink is not really preferred in this game rather than Advanced Warfare? Because everyone loved it in Advanced Warfare. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Anyone who wants to, pitch in or whatever, why you think that Black Ops 3 isn't as good of a game type for it rather than AW?
Well, personally, I like Uplink. So I haven't played enough CTF to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So I really don't have I don't know, man.
Weird.
I don't know. I like Uplink, but maybe it's because... Sorry, just getting a text. I like Uplink, but maybe it's just because I was never really a fan of CTF. I always found CTF boring and slow. Yeah, it's a really good game mode to cast over, and it's easy to understand what's going on when you're playing. Uplink has always been really chaotic, but Call of Duty is chaotic in general, so it makes sense for the game. But did we get Tommy back? Can I leave?
I don't know.
Tommy
here.
Tommy's here.
Thomas here. Oh well. Well, Hitch, I want to ask your opinion, and you can even, I don't know if you've even talked to the guys not about this, but your thoughts on CTF versus Uplink, which one you prefer, why or why not, or why Uplink isn't really as preferred as it was back in AW.
I've never seen a team hate a game type more than Optic Gaming hates CTF. So they think that is going to be Uplink. They hate Uplink, or they hate CTF with a burning passion. But then I also talked to the Complexity guys, and they said they like CTF over Uplink. CTF, the metagame right now is extremely campy. Like they were just having two people back on their flag, just camping the flag, or just camping the two back left lanes. So that's why it was extremely frustrating to play against. And plus, on all the games that they played, I think all of the subs were banned, and so Scump didn't know what to use. He was using the Kuda. He couldn't get kills with the Kuda, and he was getting shot in the back. It was just really like the metagame in CTF is extremely bad right now. But if you think about the very beginning, like the Frag Cup 4 time in CTF during Black Ops 2, it was played the exact same way. It wasn't until people started to understand how to play CTF and the spawns. The spawns got fixed a little bit, because there definitely needs to be some fixing of spawns in this game. I think everybody understands that. So once I still hope that it's CTF. I know that some people say that CTF is too slow, but it's a perfect balance between having the most chaotic game type in the world in Hardpoint, and then the most strategic game type in S&D, and then it has a little bit of both with CTF. And Uplink is always been like a little bit more hectic, and I don't know. I like the pace of those three game types.
Okay. Tommy, we're currently, I'm sure you probably know by now, but we're talking about CTF versus Uplink. Most pros, at least that I've heard of, prefer CTF over Uplink. Like what Hitch just said, he said that, it's kind of campy right now. Optic, as he's talking to them, kind of said they prefer Uplink over it. I want to know, why do you think that CTF is more preferred right now than Uplink, or why is Uplink not as popular as it was back in AW?
I think, for me personally, playing the game, just Uplink doesn't play the same way as it did in AW, because obviously the verticality is very much different. It's not as excessive as it is in AW, and also, I don't know, just like CTF has just always been fun to play on like Treyarch games in general. Like I
Right.
remember just back in Black Ops 2, like not even playing league play, just playing the CTF ladder, and just game type in general, and just having fun, even though it wasn't competitive rules, etc. But yeah, I mean the one downside, and the downside that will always be revolving around CTF is obviously that you can have very boring stalemates and
Right.
0-0 games and stuff, and it can get dragged out, to technically nearly 20 minutes before a game ends. So that is the downside to it. But compared to Uplink, what plays a lot different, and I think when I say a lot different, I mean negative way. I would definitely prefer to see Uplink. I definitely prefer to see CTF even in Black Ops 3. I mean, in my mind, there's no possibility of having them both in.
Oh yeah. I know like for a while in Advanced Warfare, like we had transition back, like we'd have Hardpoint, Search, we'd have those two, then we'd have Search again. And I think honestly we'll have to decide. Like we have to choose between CTF and Uplink, like you said. There's a lot of variables right now, and like kind of what Hitch said a minute ago. It's kind of weird because we always, whenever we have CTF, at least in Black Ops 2, it was this way. Every time CTF has started out so slow, and I think to kind of reference this past event isn't like a valid answer to say like, oh well, we played CTF this event and it was kind of slow. It's like, well, everyone plays slow because most of these guys probably haven't even played those maps. Like they don't even know the rotations or which side to pull them, like to pull the flag on, and so on and so forth. So I think honestly, it's hard to kind of compare a week or 2 weeks, let alone an event weekend where the game has just came out to kind of justify and say, oh, well, CTF was kind of campy this time. That doesn't mean it won't be in the future. And I think honestly, a lot of people were kind of, I wouldn't say scared, but like very aware of like what was going on. And when you're kind of new to a game, you obviously kind of play a little bit campy because you don't know where everything's kind of going. So, in my personal opinion, along with like a lot of other people and what you guys have said, I prefer CTF over Uplink. I think the reason why it's not as popular as it was in Advanced Warfare, kind of like reiterating what Tommy said, was because, like you said, the verticality is a lot different. You're not moving at 50 miles per hour all the time. The ball mechanics are a lot different in this game as well. In this map, it's really hard to even shoot a shot when you're a couple feet away in Black Ops 3, and when you're in Advanced Warfare, you can literally throw it across the freaking map and score. In this game, you can't even come close. So I think with this, also having a limited jetpack rather than an unlimited one makes it a lot harder for scores. And I think honestly, when it comes down to regular uplink games, we're not going to be seeing 10 to 3 after a side. I think it's going to be like 2 to 1, 2 to 3. I don't think we're going to see as high scoring of a game.
Uplink just gets
in this game either.
chaotic.
Well, I feel like in this game, it's not really that chaotic anymore. I feel like it's like having a CTF carrier with like armor. It's basically the same thing, I think, in my opinion. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I know
CTF with
goalie.
armor, Uplink defined by Landon.
Well, I mean, it's basically, it's not the same thing, but it's like you're trying to take this particular object to the other side of the map, which the other team is defending. Obviously, there's like a flag in the middle of the map, but go ahead, Hitch.
I think Uplink is basically like the same exact thing as CTF. And it's just like what made it so different in Advanced Warfare was like the movement. Like you could do so much with it. You could intercept it. You could hit like Kobe Bryant shots. But like in this game, it's just like it's literally just CTF, except one person can't shoot when they're holding the flag. That makes sense. Like, imagine if Uplink was in Black Ops 2. Like, it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The drone would have to be like, or the portal would have to be like on the ground, or like a foot above the.
Yeah. Like,
map.
you can still double jump and like make it into it, but like you can't do these crazy maneuvers in order to get around gunfights and jump in. Like, I don't know. Like the difference between a 1-point play and a 2-point play in this game is a lot different, because like you have to be so close to the portal to make a 1-point shot in this game, where that you might as well just go for the dunk, and if you just go for the dunk every time, that makes us playing blitz instead of
That's a good point.
I mean? Yeah,
Let's bring blitz back. Why not?
I honestly,
God, I can't believe you said that.
I really liked watching Blitz, but playing it was absolutely horrific.
Oh, it's so annoying. The sneaks were just Just you know what was happening, but for the player's mind, it must be so frustrating thinking you cleared everything out. But
Well, it's like that was like one of the first game types where we've had it where not killing leads to a victory. It's like not
Yeah.
So doing the
well,
objective.
you could argue Dom was the same in the sense that like you get a 2-cap and then just can, and then
But you
would
still have to
literally-
kill them off flags.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
Blitz, you literally didn't have to kill.
There was just a lot of good not CTF, a lot of good blitz games. I think in Ghost is the reason why I liked it. And how slow paced it was also kind of interesting as well. But let us know in the comments on YouTube or in the chat as well, like what you guys think, or tweet at us your thoughts. I think we kind of covered for the most part CTF and Uplink, our opinions on it. And like we said, this isn't like how people play CTF, how people play Uplink right now is by no means how people could be playing it in the latter parts or even in the middle of the game. The meta changes not with just guns, but how people actually play the maps once we obviously have all the maps set up and stuff like that. So I was gonna ask you guys. Actually, I'm gonna bring it up really quickly. So I've been casting a little bit. I'm actually gonna be casting here in a little bit, and I want to talk about the Codcaster settings. So right now, it is completely and utterly screwed up. The mini map is massively small. It's really hard to see what's going on, and I know from like a viewer's perspective. From the Totino's 50K, it was kind of hard to follow along with what was actually happening, and I know the casters were kind of having an issue. The kill feed hasn't been fixed. It's a bunch of different colors, and who has specialist I think would be a cool feature to add. Like whenever someone has a specialist or is leading up to it, it doesn't show that when someone's carrying the drone, or if someone's someone's in the hard point, or someone's carrying the CTF flag on like the right scorecard where it shows all the stats. In Advanced Warfare, it would show who was in the hard point or who had that objective at the time. And it doesn't show that. So it's really hard, for instance, if someone's carrying the drone or if someone's carrying the CTF flag, because you don't know who actually has it when you're casting. Like you have to like flip through all the players to find out who it is. And when you're trying to look at the minimap for it, it's really small, so it's hard to see as well. Which is something that I want to see addressed. It's a really hard thing right now. And I want to see that, like, at least them take into effect the issues that are going on with it and kind of address it. They haven't really mentioned it at all, at least from what I've seen. And I just want to see it fixed. That's all. That was my plea to Treyarch just then. That I want to see them fix it. So, along with that, obviously, like I said, it's the first week of the game. I'm not saying anything has to be perfect, but I like to see that fixed shortly. So, I'm going to ask you guys a couple basic questions about Black Ops 3, your experience so far, and Goalie can even chime in if he wants to as well, since it's just basic question stuff, because Goalie's basic. But what is your favorite weapon? What is your favorite weapon so far that you've been using in the game? What is your gun of choice that you've been using more often than not? I'm going to start with Tommy, then I'm going to go to Hitch, and then Goalie. Favorite weapon right now? It can be any gun at all.
I don't what just put me on the spot. Such a hard thing to answer. Because there's
Favorite weapon is a hard answer.
My favorite gun in the game is the MR6.
MR6.
Okay, well that was straight easy. That just makes me look.
The Weevil? Is it actually your favorite gun, Goalie?
I was trying to get Tommy to say that, but
Oh.
Yeah, you don't sound like me.
You use some similar. Kidding. Joke.
Yeah, one's British, one's American. I don't know, Arc 7, the starting gun, I don't know what it is about that gun, but it shreds. But other than that, I don't know. I just enjoy, I don't think I found a favorite gun, a gun that's the one I always use, if you know what I mean. As I've gone through the levels, I've just used the guns as I've unlocked them, but I don't know, just they're all enjoyable. That's what I liked back in Black Ops 2. I could jump on, play one game with an MP7, the next with an MC, the next with an M8, the next with a sniper, next with a shotgun, if you know what I mean.
So you're still experimenting. I know
I'm
you've been
basically
playing
sitting on the fence.
Yeah, you're sitting on the fence right now. Sitting on the pitch as well. Is that a British thing? I'm not sure. Goalie, what is your weapon of choice for right now? Is it the Weevil, actually?
It was the Man of War until I realized that no one was using it on LAN. So I don't know anymore.
I know.
No.
But what if you were
Why's
to
that
get into
bad
a game right now? What weapon would you just go to automatically?
Well, because all my classes are screwed up right now on Black Ops 3.
I just need an answer.
The Weevil.
The Weevil. Okay, that's actually a pretty good gun. To be
No,
honest.
it's trash.
It's not that bad.
It's bad.
Basically, it's like the P90, right? It's like the exact same thing. They just gave it a new name, right?
Yeah.
The Vesper.
It's
is
kind of a
fantastic.
cool sounding name, though. Let's be honest.
The Weevil. It is. I'm looking at it right now in Black Ops 3. 'Cause you just can't see me when I'm doing. Either way, I think my favorite weapon, without a freaking doubt, might I add, is the VMP. 100%. I've already maxed, leveled it up or prestiged it twice. I have stat check on it and stuff, and I absolutely love that gun. I also like the M8. They actually recently buffed it as well, and if I was to choose an SMG or an AR, that would definitely be my favorite weapons. I've been using the Locust, actually. Hitch, I've been using a sniper, and I suck with it. I was asking really quick, Hitch, what do you think of the sniper rifles? I know you're a sniper for the most part. What do you think of the snipers so far in this game? Do you think they could be useful in, search or something?
Well, yeah, Octane showed that they going competitive. It does frustrate me to no end that there's no aim assist on snipers. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because aim assist is on every single gun ever created in every Call of Duty on console ever in the history of the game, except for Black Ops 3 sniper rifles, which I don't get it. But so that's kind of obnoxious for somebody who that's my entire play style. I'm still doing all right with the snipes, but
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But as far as yeah, I think it'll still be extremely viable and competitive. We already see people banning what is the name of the other sniper, not the Locust? The SVG, is that it?
I think that might be right. It's SVG 100. Yeah, that's
yeah,
the one.
We already see people banning that. So
Yeah, I was just
it'll be
curious.
good.
Your thoughts. So since we kind of talked about our favorite weapons so far, I'm gonna go and move on to our last question, and then we'll kind of close it out. If you were to choose one thing that you could take out of Black Ops 3, so say you're a developer, you put out a patch, you get rid of one thing completely. What thing would you choose? It could be a specialist, it could be even an attachment, it could be a weapon. If you could choose one thing to just get rid of in Black Ops 3, what would it be and why? Or you can try to improve on it and say that you would do this to, fix it. But if you could take something out, what would it be and why? I can answer it, or if someone already has their answer, they can go. But there's one thing you can take out of Black Ops 3, what would it be and why? In my opinion, I'm going to going straight to the most frustrating thing right now in Black Ops 3 to me, which is, in most Treyarch games, the LMGs. The LMGs are incredibly annoying to play against. The Gorgon, in specific, is very hard to go up against. It's literally kills you in 2 bullets, and it's an LMG, and you run around just as quick as you would if you had an SMG out, which is the most annoying thing to come up against. So if I was to get rid of a gun or try to fix it, I would go straight to the Gorgon. I get melted by it by every game. So if I was to choose one thing, I would be the Gorgon. Does anyone else have theirs?
I mean,
if you don't want to take anything out, that's totally fine.
I mean, well, there's always stuff that can be improved on. I mean, the perk Sixth Sense is a bit annoying in the sense that it basically tells you on your mini map where, I think it's north, south, east, west, the direction of where close enemies are. What's kind of frustrating because it's you have it, it's not like you can use it and it runs out in 30 seconds. You just have it permanently, and it's really frustrating because technically someone could easily camp around a corner and their Sixth Sense would go off when they get close, and you know that someone's coming around that corner. What's just really frustrating, because I hate campers. They shouldn't be in the game, but they do exist because it's Call of Duty.
True. It's a good point. So hit your goalie. I know I said an LMG, said the Gorgon. Tommy said Sixth Sense. He chose a perk. You guys have any thing that you would, if you could take something out of the game, which thing would you take out and why?
Awareness, because it's still broken.
Awareness. So would you try to improve
is broken
it
in every game,
or would you try to patch it, fix it?
No,
completely.
I just hate awareness and dead silence in the first place.
Okay.
Because it makes you take certain perks into S&D. I've always hated it.
Okay. All right, Hitch. Anything that you would take out of the game, or try to fix or patch? No.
Hitch has left the building.
Hitch has been silent. So I guess Hitch thinks this is a perfect game.
Hitch
and,
wants to
wants
take
to make no
escalators
improvements.
out of buildings so that he
That's
can't get
hilarious.
I can't get any pictures of escalator entertainment to put on stream. So
Oh gosh.
Oh my lord, if only.
Oh well. Well, I think it's gonna kind of do it, guys, for the show this week. I know we had a lot of issues. Obviously, you guys couldn't see our face or anything like that. Obviously, we had some issues with Skype. TeamSpeak has not been the nicest thing to us as of late. We do promise a lot of things to be fixed as well. You know, whenever things come in your way, it's how you react to those things is what makes you as a person. That's been my quote for the week. And it's now time to give our outros for the show. You can give 30 seconds, say whatever you want, however you want, sponsors, anything you guys want to. And I'm going to go ahead and go to Tommy first.
So thank you for watching. I
You
have
out?
my own problems as Hitch is just having a conversation with someone in the background. Yeah, next week is hopefully going to be 100 times better than what this week has been. We also have some really cool stuff in the pipeline that hopefully we'll be able to tell you next week, but I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to spoil anything. But my name's Tommy. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. And yeah, I'm going to bed.
Nice. Goalie, I think Goalie should give an outro. He was on the show for a little bit. Goalie?
suck fipe in the chat and okay, yeah, Skype, I hate you. XSplit, I definitely hate you today. Yeah, have a good day, everyone.
Nice. Hitch?
Thank you guys so much for the support of my vlogs, and then also on Vision. Vision has really kind of, like, people are really starting to like it. It's getting a lot of support from, like, everybody in the community, not just the Optic people, which is awesome. And yeah, let's keep this going.
Alrighty. And guys, it's been your dude, your bro, your pal, your man, your ally on the internet, Spin Landon. Guys, thank you so much for coming to the show this week. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Rockmania or on YouTube, Air Landon. I've been uploading a lot of stuff, a lot of content recently, and I'm so ready to just grind this game out. I'm actually going to be casting in like 30 minutes until the night is over. And I just literally just went to sink my teeth into this game and know everything about it as well. So that's going to do it for the show. Shout out to our sponsors, both Scuff and G Fuel. Make sure to use code STiKS at checkout to get a discount on either of those products. And make sure to check out the STiKS next week on Monday, and Fox's show, which has actually been going on as well. Make sure to check him out, and make sure to follow the STiKS Live Twitter to find out when all of that stuff goes down. So we'll see you guys all next week. Have a fantastic week, and enjoy your rest of the day. Have a great day, and peace out.
Peace
Boom.
out.
Boom.